I love what you're saying, because sometimes organization has invested into machinery, but they are spending out of a 24-hour period, they're spending maybe 10 hours using that machine. And they might be able to say, okay, we're spending 10 hours, 15 hours, whatever. We have 4 or 5 hours where this machine can run, and we can let this out. We can actually let this out. Yes.
And I'm just going to go back to relationships. Networking, relationships, super important for you to have access to somebody's line. Yeah, it does just you're not going to just go on somebody, knock on their door and tell them, hey, give me 2 hours of your machines.
Yeah.
These are all connected.
Who are you? Get out of here. Shout out to Patricia Ithao. Ladies, do you know Patricia Ithao?
Yes.
Yeah, shout out to Patricia. Patricia says, Olivia, I'm busy. I do a lot. But I take one day, and I advise other CEOs to also take a day, weekday, forget Saturday and Sunday, weekday, make it a Tuesday or a Thursday, to get out. Play golf. Go to a book, whatever it is that people who have a lot of money and are leading big companies do when they're not in the office. Go and do that. Meet those other people. Join a club, right? Learn a sport. All of this stuff that you're talking about. But Patricia said it's very, very important, even for strategy. Yeah. Even for understanding and analyzing the different markets. So yes, network and take time out to focus on your core business. I've not heard much from you, Marianne, and I'm coming back to you for that specific reason. Because when you're giving these talks and you're telling these women how to excel, in their financials, right? With regards to what they come back to you and ask, we're talking about women who now have been in business for a couple of years, let's say 3 to 5 years, right? But they feel like they've stagnated, right? Next steps.
Okay, that's a good question. I was actually going to add to what Pat had said about manufacturing, and we shouldn't cage ourselves into our centers of business, because she invited me for a talk where one of the manufacturers was talking, and I learned so much about what they go through, about labeling, about pricing. I mean, there's a whole ecosystem of things happening there. So we just have to keep ourselves abreast. But in terms of a woman getting herself out there and getting unstuck, the same event I went to, I met so many people who are doing so many things, nice hair products, clothes, everything, but we don't even know about them. So it's about us as women. How are we marketing ourselves and our businesses? So for me, it's just having an elevator pitch, knowing what your business is all about. And if somebody asks you in 1 minute, you should be able to say, this is my business, this is the value it's adding, and this is where I'm going. So just keeping yourself refreshed and out there. Even this time when we went for this investor meeting, and I met some of those like Zuri Health who had already gotten some financing. And the way even they speak to the investors, it's good pitch, knowing what they're doing, this is a value I'm bringing.
Zuri Health is Aika?
Yes.
Was it Aika?
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Aika.
Yeah. So, and I mean, she came, she talked, and these are my needs, these are my wants, and this is where my business is going. So just being very clear about where you're going and totally keeping abreast. And for me, just staying connected.
I know a lot of women who are wanting to venture into business, or already entrepreneurs, who are very, very, very good at what they do, but they're very, very bad at talking about it. So they're very, very good in making the soap or creating the fashion or designing, whatever it is, but they're very poor in communicating their product, right? So Pat, at Kayana, are there any courses or are there opportunities for these women to develop that elevator pitch skill so that they're able to confidently? One person who always does this so well is Nancy of The Property Show. Do you guys know Nancy? Nancy's a powerhouse. I love that word, powerhouse. So is that something that they can do through Kayana?
Yes. The beauty about every single skill, including singing or whatever, is that it can be learned. Some people are adept and pick it up very quickly. Others need time. And storytelling is one of those beautiful things about being able to speak about your business, which is really exciting. Just very, very recently, I was speaking at an event that I had, it's a 10-year event where it's a pitching event. And the thought of just pitching my business in front of people just, scares me, because when I was doing it at Babson, it was very, very scary. I had never done it before. And I can understand how difficult it would be. So just the thought of that, just is really scary. And what we were told to do, we're not told we're pitching our businesses. We just were told, just tell us a little bit about what you do. And now when you start taking it from what you're doing, storytelling, from a point of authenticity, it is your story. nobody else's story. It is your journey, nobody else's journey. We're able then to tell our stories in a very succinct way. It was 8 minutes, and 8 minutes went really fast. But then you begin to shorten it. And the more you talk about it, you begin to get more succinct. And as you tell your story and you're looking at the person who's speaking to you, you can see the things that they're picking up on. So these are skills that you learn. The more often that you tell it all the time. I even pitch to my kids when I see my 8-year-old son yawning. I'm like, hey Pat, you've lost this guy. Yeah. So just practice it. Keep practicing it until it becomes something that is so succinct, and you're able to say it, and then be backed with data. Yeah.
We're going to be losing our Acadian audience in about 3-4 minutes. So just to wrap up, the key things that you feel women in business need to know in order to succeed. You have about 1.5 minutes, Marianne, just to give them a succinct answer to what they need to arm themselves with before we lose KTN News.
Okay. So for me, like I said earlier, knowing your product, knowing what you're selling or what value you're adding, if it's a service, keeping your financials and keeping them well, having somebody even to look at them once in a while to just make sure that you're on the right track. Have a good relationship with your bank. That's really a must part, don't you think so?
Yes.
And just basically having your elevator pitch and getting yourself ready and just being consistent and doing it every day.
Marianne Nyagi, Global Women Connections, LLC, Pat Okello, Kayana, author, award winner. What is that you feel women going into business, wanting to grow their businesses, need to arm themselves with?
A strong self-belief. They need to working on your confidence. A strong self-belief, which can be built and through networking and through sharing and through connecting with other entrepreneurs as well. And knowledge of your market. You need to know who your customer is. What is the need? What is their need? What is the need you're meeting in terms of your business? And are they paying you money for it? Don't fall in love with an idea where nobody is willing to pay you top dollar to deliver.
I love that. In terms of knowing your market, do you think it's important to note customer information as and when you are selling? Because let's be honest, a lot of startups, you sell, then you're like, but who did I sell to? What age group were they? Where were they coming from? How much did they... How can they capture that information?
How? Using your telephone,
Yes.
which is where most information is being captured right now.
Yes.
And so being able to track each and every sale, then you gather, that's data.
Yes.
Then you gather and see the patterns. Who's buying? Is it a woman? And if it's a woman, how old are they? Where do they get their money from? Who are your competitors? Those are things that you can gather on your own. Just top line.
Yes.
You need to be able to call your customer by name, literally.
I love that. I absolutely love that. How can we reach you at Global Women Connections, Marianne?
We have our website, www.globalwomenconnections.com. And of course, you can reach me on LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Pat Okello?
Kayana.org, and just click the button that says Become a Member. And of course, we're on all social media as Kayana Kenya, and for me, Patricia Okello on LinkedIn.
How much does it cost to become a member? I'm putting you on the spot there, Pat.
Well, it is 10,000 plus VAT a year.
Okay.
To do that, which is less than 1,000 shillings a month for the amount of support we will give you. That's great.
Is there a fee associated with becoming a GWC member, Marianne?
Yes.
But you don't want to talk about how much it is?
I don't want to talk about it now. Just log into our website and we can interact.
Wonderful.
We have different levels.
This is Double O Direct. We're talking about how to succeed as a woman in business in Kenya. It's a mouthful, but basically it's women, it's business, and it is success. Thank you to everybody who's been watching on KTN News. For everybody else, keep watching the live stream, standardmedia.co.ke.